Pavanji. I really liked your humble starting, the way you started as if you don't know anything. But the way you went inside the stories and you shared your views, I really liked it very much. And when I was reading also, I also felt the same. When I read Jasmine, I felt Mali is dancing in front of us and sitting and having her breakfast and feeding the crows over there. So it really takes a lot of time thinking to design this kind of or write this kind of stories. And it's really a great work because when we go into that details, we find that everything is happening inside our house or maybe outside. We know it, but we couldn't feel the pain and we couldn't write it. But it's really, I really salute Annapurna Sharma to feel that pain and bring it on paper and show it to us that how a small girl was like facing so many problems, and then also there was a hope and there was a small ray of light in her life when she was peeping out from her window. Thank you, Pavan. Invite the guest of honor. Let me have the privilege of introducing her to the gathering of enthusiastic masterminds here. There are 4 pillars on which you can build the platform to reap the zenith of success. That is dedication, devotion, discipline and determination. Educators are true driving force of civilization. They create history and leave their footprint on the sand of time for successor to tread upon. Dr. M. Malini has 37 years of teaching experience in English, served in various roles like head of the department of English department, academic officer and principal. She published 3 books and many papers in both national and international journals. She presented 12 papers in international seminars and 48 national seminars, and also acted as a resource person and a chairperson in several state and national seminars. She delivered many guest lectures and conducted various workshops on communication skills, personality development, leadership, soft skills, and research methodologies. Her love for students made her to do a lot of work for students' community. She did not only motivate them but also enlighten the student to a great extent and transform them into wholesome personality. She conducted many youth exchange programs with German, Belgium and Korean students, and not only this, she organized several women empowerment programs, health awareness camps, under literary programs for the downtrodden people in the society. She extended helping hand in educating the children of HIV-affected parents and economically backward students. She won many awards. A few of them are the State Best Teacher Award in 2018 from Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu, on the occasion of Teachers' Day. This is not only the one award she got. She has Priyadarshini National Award, Bharat Jyoti Award from Indian International Fellowship Friendship Society, the Best Citizen of India Award from International Publishing House, New Delhi in 2015. Now, I respectfully invite Dr. M. Malini to come forward and deliver her views on the book When Jaya Met Jaggu and other stories.
I deem it my to attend this celebration of the book launch. At the foremost, I offer my namaskar to Sri Jaya Sharma Garu, whom I have met first time, and he is the ocean of knowledge, and I am extremely happy and delighted to meet him today. Then, coming to the writer, only 15 days back I met her. During my 37 years of experience, I taught Indian writing in English, American literature, British literature and everything. But when Srilata rang me and told that I had to review a book, an anthology of short stories written by some Annapurna, I was waiting for her. She came into the house. I was very much thrilled in my heart. I didn't reveal it, to meet a live writer before me. I met some writers, Manju Kapoor and others, in Meet the Writer programs. What literature people feel is, we study only Wordsworth, Keats, Shakespeare, so on and so forth. Nowadays, people are writing very well, and a writer coming into my house and asking me to review the book was a really thrilling experience for me, and this is the first experience of reviewing the book also. So I thank the writer for giving me this opportunity. When she told that she was inviting a person like Annapurna Sharma garu, ఎందుకమ్మా నన్ను పిలుస్తున్నావు, he is such a great man, he is enough, why do you invite me అని చెప్పాను అడిగాను. But she said I have to do it. So when someone asks, definitely I will do it. So reviewing a book is a new thing for me. Teaching is different, reviewing is different. So I kept the book on my bedside for all the 10 days, now and then reading a story, and only yesterday night I started reviewing it and trying to understand the mind of the writer and identifying myself with the characters in the stories. It is said that well begun is half done. Sujata wonderfully welcomed the ceremony, and I congratulate her for her spontaneity and creativity in inviting. And Gangigo Palu Veritadaina Chalu, Kadavadaina Nemi Karamu Palu. That's the thing. The Takumandi, that too Sunday morning, you postponed all your works and came here to congratulate Annapurna. So really it's a wonderful thing. Madam like Sachavati Garu and others, I don't know their names. There are so many writers. I'm not a writer. I'm only an academician. There are editors, writers and all. I think that I am an odd person out. Am I right?
No.
Okay. Now coming to the book. I never felt that it is an anthology of English stories. It went like Telugu stories. Very, the content is moving like a thread in between the flowers. And the language she used is very interesting. And I told her how a science lecturer can write in such a wonderful manner. Here I have to tell you a secret. I did my BSc with botany main, and I studied MA English literature as it is advised by my father. And from the day one, I told sir in the morning, from the day 1 to last day, I studied, I read the books like a student, and I tried to convince the students and reach the students. So here, a science lecturer writing wonderful poetry and also short stories. Really, it's a wonderful thing for me. I congratulate her for this. And she's a nutritionist, they told. And in these stories, when Jaya met Jaggu and other stories written by her, they just as the sir told, they are all like Navaratnas. Which one to pick up? We don't know. Each one has its own creativity and beauty, and according to her, love is complex, and all those stories contain varieties of love. We can't explain them, we have to feel them. For example, in the first story, Jasmine Maid, we find a character called Malli. Title is Jasmine Maid, character's name is Malli. In itself, she had shown Indian writing in English in giving the title to that girl. And this Malli is very much interested in jasmine flowers, and she also likes Lord Krishna's statue, which is in her madam's house. And every day she used to bring some jasmine flowers to decorate Lord Krishna. But Madam wanted those jasmine flowers for her. Madam is very rich. She can buy so many flowers. But she used to tell the girl that the flowers which she bought are not so beautiful, so fragrant like the jasmine flowers which she brings. But she is not interested in giving to the madam. She wanted to keep that garland only to Lord Krishna. Sometimes she used to hide the jasmine flowers in her hair. And after that, when madam went outside, she used to keep those flowers near Lord Krishna and prayed God. So that is a very sensitive point. I wonder how she has written like that. And I identified myself with madam. Whenever my servant maid had that mehendi, గోరింట పెట్టుకొస్తుంటారు అప్పుడు పెట్టుకొస్తుంటే నాకేదని అడుగుతాను. ఎందుకంటే ఐ నెవర్ మైండ్ ఆస్కింగ్, అంటే పెట్టుకుంటానో లేదో తర్వాత సంగతి. వి విల్ బి అట్రాక్టెడ్ బై సచ్ థింగ్స్, అడుగుతాం. సో ఇట్స్ క్వైట్ న్యాచురల్. ఐ వండర్ హౌ షీ హ్యాస్ రిటన్ లైక్ దట్. అండ్ కమింగ్ టు Malli, she is not at all afraid of the work she has to do. Though she is very young, she entered into her mother's role. And she used to wash the dishes, clean the house, take the dustbin to the outside and all. So that is another thing I liked, how she was able to observe such type of people and write them. It also tells Malli's love for God. She believes that her prayers will be definitely answered. She used to ask Lord Krishna to kill her father because he used to harass his mother. And that happened in 1 week. So it is understood that her prayers were answered by God. And at the end of the story, she is ready to do for whatever that coffee bite chocolates. Already story was explained by Sir and Ravi. I don't want to go deep into it. So that is just I want to introduce the characters to you. In the second story also, in the first story there is about coffee bite. In the second story there is much interest for coffee. The title of the story is Coffee Pleasure. When I was a child, when I was going to school, I never drank milk. I used to drink 2 cups of coffee.
Oh.
Two big cups of coffee. So I reminded of that. Why these people like coffee? Yes, coffee is very tasty, I felt. And here the story begins with Satya performing Annamaya's composition Adigo Alladigo Sri Hari Vasam. Again Indianism, love for Annamaya, love for Indian culture and all. And she is performing her mother's favorite performance. So love towards the mother, love towards Annamaya, love towards coffee. In the beginning pages itself, you find varieties of love. And at the beginning, we find the lady is sipping coffee and getting ready to go onto the stage. The story begins with coffee and ends with coffee. The story begins with the granddaughter, of course adopted one, drinking coffee and going to the stage for performance. And the story ends with the grandmother about to die, who is about to die. There is much deterioration in her health and she is ready to have coffee at midnight, at 1 o'clock. So I have a doubt whether Annapurna loves coffee very much or not. Do you like? That is reflected in the stories. And Satya gives numerous performances all over the world, and we feel nostalgic when we find writers' picturization of Amama's house and Payasam, Pulihora and Kumkudigai. All of us forgot Kumkudigai nowadays. We use shampoos. So I remembered my grandmother, how she used to use Kumkudigai and all. I liked the way she used it, and she used these Telugu words to add some spice to the story. And it also tells us how a women-to-women marriage, we don't see such type of things in our day-to-day lives. But I know one student, one of my students, she used to, she studied BCom, and she used to observe women with much fascination. And people used to shout at her, why are you looking like that? She used to say, I like her eyes, something like that. And later, she went to US. One day she came to my house and she said that she married a lady, lesbian marriage. So that is also, she didn't give in detail, just a few lines. You have to understand the things in between lines. In between lines, much focus is on coffee, much focus is on mother and child relation, how the daughter writes unposted letters to the mother and how the mother writes the letter to daughter. But in between, she used this. So we have to understand much that she has very good knowledge about all those things. This lady Revati marries Harriet, and father didn't like her behavior. Father is very angry with this lady, and she is never allowed into her house. But mother likes her so much. Motherly affection springs in her. She wants to meet her, but unable to meet. So before death, she writes a letter. That letter is very touching, and she asks another daughter to post the letter to Revati after her death. So all these things, they touch the strings of our heart. We feel very emotional. Title is Coffee Pleasure, but what are the things inside? Burning sensation, burning emotions. So that is another story. Next, coming to the next story, the title, When Jaya Met Jaggu. Already the story was very clearly explained by Sir. I'm not going to the deep thing. The only thing is, she explains when Amar, the son of this lady Jaya, in order to make her recollect the past, he asked her, my wife cannot do rasam in a good way as you do. She explains how to do rasam, garlic rasam. And the rasam is the preparation of rasam according to her. She tells her about her preparation very much, and that is very mouth-watering, I can tell. Jayan was her grandson, and she cannot remember even the grandson. She pretends to sleep when the son is asking so many things about her past. But as soon as the son goes away, she goes and meets that old man, and she loves him so much. And when she was discharged from the hospital, once again she wants to go with that man. The son did not like it, but daughter-in-law supports him, supports the lady, and she lives happy life with that man. So love at old age. The next story is Pariya in my backyard. So it has a special way of narration. I appreciated her for her narrative techniques. One story contains letters, unposted letters. Another story, it has some special way of narration. In each part of that story, there is a character called Sundar, the narrator. Each line starts with, I was a happy person, said my friend, said my wife, said my mother, said my milkman, so on and so forth. So he lives with his mother and wife Anu, daughter Rashi, and once again there was love for a cup of coffee. Here also you will find a cup of coffee. Madam, you didn't give me coffee today. Not only to me, but others. I think we'll get it afterwards.
She will invite all of us again for a cup of coffee, madam.
She loves coffee, and she didn't share her love of coffee to us.
Yeah, surely I'll share.
And in this house, there is a servant called Venki. Venki, the servant becomes an important person in the family. He helps them in Sundar's absence. Sundar is very greedy to gain money, and he leaves the house to the servant, to the in charge of the servant. But later he realizes and he feels that money is not everything for better living, and he comes back and stays with his family. That is Pariya in my back. Then comes lunchtime. Lunchtime, by the word itself, we feel as though we are in college or office, it is time for lunch. Aggipulla Kukkapilla Sasabulla Kadevi Kavita Kanarham Anna Sri. So, wonderful story was woven around a a dog called Sony. All the feelings of a woman are poured into the heart of Sony. So, Sony, it is another interesting story in the collection. It was the story of a dog, her feelings, how she has fallen in love with another male dog called Tiger, and how that male dog left her for fairer witch called Tara. See the names are also very, very interesting, and we feel as though we are reading or we are seeing a love story, and how the woman was deprived by that.
Dog's world.
What's that?
Dog's world, I said.
Yes, yes.
Entering into the dog's world.
Here, Sony had some kids, puppies. She wanted to select a particular important place that she selected a hostel to acquire food and to keep her young puppies there. And all the feelings and observations of that dog are excellently portrayed by Annapurna. I really appreciate her. And she realistically describes the hostel, how the hostel girls behave, how they shout in the dining hall, how the person in charge of that hostel controls them and all. And as a writer, she is very successful in writing this story. And the description of the hostel is done through the eyes of the dog, Sony. How students behave, how they smile. Sony loved Warden Madam, but Chinnamma, the Aya, used to give her food every day. Pups used to suck milk from Sony, and girls watched them with enthusiasm. One day, she left the hostel, and another important thing in this story is, there is a character called Chendu. I have a doubt whether Chendu is a man or a dog. I have to turn the pages, because Chendu likes Lakshmi. Chendu admires Lakshmi, her hair, the way she walks and everything. I turned the pages to and fro to know whether Chendu is a dog or a man. So, like that, she impresses us through her writings. And at last, Sony understood the admiration of Chendu for Lakshmi. Then, at the end, she left the hostel to put her disabled pup in a better place. While walking, she was crushed by a truck. Here also, I had my own personal feelings. We used to have a pet cat in our house. Of course, we didn't buy it. It used to come to our house every day. We used to pour milk or some curd. So she was with us for several months. But one day, our servant told that she was crushed by some car and died. So the same feeling I personally felt, and one can judge that this is the best story she has written. Coming to the lame mango. Actually, mango tree is not lame. The person is lame. But she added, am I right? Yes, she added that adjective to mango tree to tell us there is not much difference between mango tree and the man. He loves the mango tree very much. And there is a man called Ajay. His wife is Pratibha. They had two children, Shravan and Alika. Ajay is lame. On his 8th birthday, his grandfather, Dadaji, brought him a gift, a sapling. He planted and watered it every day. It was the sweetest mango called Langra. So he waited for so many years. After 4 years, the tree was grown and it gave fruit. And another thing is, as a child, he used to loiter around the tree, and he never allowed the birds to sit on the tree because it is his own. He never allowed. But his Dadaji told him that he must allow the birds to make nest. It is their right to stay on the tree. So once again he allowed, and most of the time he used to spend under the tree. And after 4 years, there were fruits. He quarreled with his friends and lost friendship with them because of this mango tree. And when he married, he introduced his wife to the tree. When children were born, he introduced his children to the mango tree. So it is a wonderful thing. Other people may think that he may be mad, but that is the real feeling, real love towards the tree. And he shared all his life secrets to the mango tree. But unfortunately, after some years, the leaves began withering, the branches turned black, smoke emanated from the trunk, and the tree died. So all the family members decided to cut it into pieces. But he was not in a position to accept it. He went inside the room, locked the door, and feeling very unhappy for that. After some time, some people came, cut the tree into pieces, and they took it in the truck. After a few minutes, his children knocked at the door, and he opened it. Then the children pulled their father to the place where mango tree was cut. There they planted 2 saplings on either side of the place where the tree was cut. So it is also a beautiful story, no words to explain more than this. And Gods Without Inquest is the 7th story written by her, in which we find Rangi, a beautiful woman who is married to Ranganath or Ranga, and he used to collect the toddy, and she used to sell the toddy, and before selling on every Tuesday, she used to offer that to Nagadevata, and she used to pluck sampagi flower from that garden. So later, there was a fight in between Rangi and Ranga, and one day after Amavasya, Ranganath was seen dead under the old palm tree, and the villagers were shocked to see that. They also told that his father also died like that. And I request Madam to tell the mystery behind it to all of us. I couldn't understand the mystery. Then, coming to the 8th story, Temple Under the Tamarind Tree. Sir told that he asked her whether she has gone to US. Same feeling also entered my mind. Beautifully described US life. Pardo and Pavitra are wife and husband. They had Megha and Montu. Megha is the daughter, Montu is their son. They had wonderful house at Boston. They loved pumpkin picking. They used to go to the orchards, and they also wanted to plant pumpkins in their garden and cook delicious dishes with the pumpkin. The story is divided into 8 parts. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, like that. And in each part, she wonderfully describes the feelings, the ideas that were circulating in the mind of the person. Once he wanted to sell his ancestral home, which is near Calcutta. He went to that place, he observed the surroundings, he was nostalgic. He remembered his mama and all other food items mother and grandmother used to give. Then he came back to Boston. His mother is also living with him. He told her everything connected with the ancestral home. His mother is against, like every mother in India, she was against selling that house. So she told her son not to sell that house. And she wanted to visit that place once. So on the request of the mother, he brought her to their ancestral village. And there one day, on full moon night, she asked her son to dig at a particular place under the tamarind tree, which is near a goddess temple. He started digging. Why, he asked, but she didn't give any answer. Asked him to dig, and he dug. At last, he was able to find some ancestral wealth. So after 3 months, the mother dies, but he couldn't keep that wealth with him, and he has thrown that into the pond near the temple. So that is another story, Temple Under the Tamarind Tree. Coming to the last, Lone Jungly Crow. So all of us feel that when crow crows, we feel that some guest will be coming to our house. The same superstition is explained here, and it has happened also. It deals with the changes in the countryside and changes in seasons. It is a place called Lanka, a small village where wife and husband used to live. The writer describes Asviyuja, Bhadrapada, Kartika, Margasira, all months in Telugu. Akka Indian writing in English. I appreciate her tinge. And Rajanna is the son. Mother used to believe in God, and whenever there was harvest, she used to promise God that she will give the first bag of harvest to rice or whatever it is, wheat to goddess. But he never believed in God, and he looked through the lens of science. He's in a scientific manner, he thinks in a scientific manner. He worked very, very hard, but he used to get very less income. So wife, just like any Indian wife, Viji is the name of the wife, she used to fight with the husband. Let us go to city. Why wasting all time and energy in the village? But he never allowed her, and he worked very hard in the fields. Many months passed. During 1 month there was a heavy rain. He has sown the seeds, but due to heavy rains, all the fields are like pools. He alone worked very, very hard to push the water into another part of the fields. And finally, one fine day, he saw saplings and he is very happy. Not only he, his wife is also very happy. Actually, she was tempted by her brother to come back to city. As the wife is forcing him to come to city every day, naturally, a husband, sometimes he may yield, but this man is very strong, very hopeful, and finally he wanted to settle in the village, and wife is also very happy with him. So these are the 9 stories she wrote, and I liked the way she wrote. And in some cases, she wrote not only Indian writing in English, in some cases she used wonderful vocabulary which are not understood by even English lecturers, I assure you. I'll tell you those words. I missed them. Tectonics, contortions, mixed stuffs, avariciousness. So definitely we have to refer the dictionary in order to understand the lines of this nutrition lecturer. I congratulate you, madam. I congratulate you. And in one story, she explained the importance of food, how the food helps for the health. And she tells that cool food is not good for health. And she also tells that dried, spicy food, junk food is also not good. Only a few times I have seen as a lecturer in nutrition. In all other things, she is a wonderful literary person, and definitely these stories will touch many, many hundreds and millions of hearts.
Oh.
I congratulate her. All the best for her. And I thank her for giving wonderful opportunity. And I appreciate her husband Madhav and the daughter for the complete cooperation they are extending to her. And I also thank Srilata for introducing a live writer to me. I am really excited today.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
For giving such a wonderful review of 9 gems. That word, I didn't get that idea. I learned from Adya sir, and today I learned from you, madam, how to give review of the book.
This is the first time I am doing.
And I feel that a teacher only can read between the lines, and your experience, your knowledge, and that we could feel that today. And it's really wonderful, ma'am, the way you explained everything. And after listening to you, I feel that I have to learn many things from you. And as you told that the stories are written with lots of love, I agree with you. And I wish Dr. Annapurna Sharma, Honorary Dr. Annapurna Sharma, like the books which she has written, and I feel that she can write more than this, And then tomorrow, definitely researchers like me will do research on your stories, and then we will sit here and discuss all the things. And I'm sure that within few months we will make a article also on your book. Definitely, Srilata and both of us, we are doing that. And for sure, I'll take maximum of your short stories, but I wish that many more success to you, and you many scholars will join, and then we will think about it the day that we were here together and we celebrated this day with you. All right. Today we are really blessed to have many gems under one umbrella. Dr. P. Srilata is a poet and story writer, experienced teacher and trainer. She is a bilingual poet and has acquired reputation as a poet who was honored at national and international poetry festivals. She published many research articles on national and international conference journals and e-journals. She has attended many seminars, conferences, workshops to upgrade her knowledge, which is in turn enhances the quality of her teaching. I would like to appreciate her talent and a unique attempt which she has gone right now. The name of that is Diamond India, Unheard Songs of Obscure Heroes, is her contribution to the nation on the eve of 75th Independence Day. That is her ideas, and the way she has come up, that's a really a unique idea. She wants to celebrate and make a note of it that there were many freedom fighters and their names are unknown to us. She wants to bring those names, uncover those names and bring it in front of others. And because of that, she has started this work. And I feel that definitely she will be great, and she will have a great success in that attempt. Now I invite Dr. T. Srilata to present her review on the book.
Sujata, for introducing me with your good words. And next, being the last speaker is the biggest challenge, I believe. I know. Yes, I'm enjoying this challenge. And so I would like to make my points put in a different way, because almost all of them were discussed at length. So at the outset, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to Annapurna Sharma for the sincere attempt of enriching the literary world with her short stories. So I'm very sorry, without extending my pronouns to the persons on the dais, I am very much excited to speak, so my hearty pronouns to the people on the dais and off the dais. Please accept with my apologies. The nutritionist turned novelist is successful in bringing nutritious material to suffice the appetite of readers. Moreover, she knows very well the levels of proportions to be served in one's plate to enjoy a perfect meal in the form of a good book. So this book, as is already discussed, has many facets. Of course, love being the common emotion. But we see many other points, sometimes as a message to the society, sometimes as his observation on a few practices. And hence, these characters, they really palpitate and reflect the society. Like justifying the statement, literature is a reflection of life. So they mirror very simple and natural characters that we happen to see sometimes in our own houses, sometimes the next door. Like the temple under the tamarind tree, we see Partho, who has lot of attachment and bonding for the house he had to sell. There I am very much touched and attached because of my own personal experiences with regard to them. And here, in the stories, now and then we see some stanzas being quoted from the lines of Emily Dickinson, William Wordsworth, Rabindranath Tagore, and many others, to show her love and respect to poets as well. And she tried to put them in the right place, making the story more appealing to the readers. And then, if we observe, another alluring factor in this is her style. Her style is not like a very big writer with say hi-fi vocabulary. If we have to go to the dictionary each and every paragraph or each and every line. It's not like that. It has been teaching us unknowingly. We just in one sitting we try to finish the story, without which we just can't put it aside. So that is the kind of gripping attention she has got on the minds of the readers. In the same way, the lame mango. This story also, it is a bit touching to me, because I personally felt that kind of attachment to the two mango trees which we had previously a few years back in our premises, and hence I really had that kind of attachment to them, where of course now I too miss them. In the next story, lunchtime, it is now lunchtime. We are all very much awaiting good lunch, and here this story is really wonderful, as it is already said by the previous speakers. After reading a few pages only, we understand the character. Who is this? It is so amazing that the speaker is a dog, and be it a dog or any other living creature, it is a mother. So we can see that motherhood, that kind of affection towards its kids. And moreover, she is very much worried, yes, where I have to place these kids for getting good food. And the other important factor which I noticed is, a mother has a lot of extra care for a child who needs some extra support. Here we find a puppy which is limping. So the mother has a lot of care on this. So there are many such life-teaching emotions, and where we empathize, that are very, very artistically and beautifully dealt. And now, the author described the predicaments of two generations of dogs, and we can even observe that in one or two stories where dogs also play important characters. And he has already said, it is love which is universal. It can be love among human beings, humans love towards animals, humans love towards plants and trees, humans love towards nature, environment, whatever. Even the buildings, our possessions, our people. So it can be anything. So this is how I appreciate her. And at this point of time, in particularly the lame mango, this story, I would remind of one of the important authors, writers, Anita Badami, where she is one of my research authors. I did research on 3 of her books, one of which is Tell It to the Trees. There she conveys a very beautiful message. Like you convey anything, you share any of your feelings with the trees. Yes, that is more safer, because if we share any of our feelings, sometimes secrets also, to people, taking them into confidence, it might not be reciprocated well. So Tell It to the Trees means, in that story we see the characters, they develop a strong bond with the trees. So this is how I reminded about that writer. And also in across all the 9 stories, her style of describing things, use of lots and lots of vocabulary, very high vocabulary is there, ma'am, very good number of words, you know, I have to learn much from you. So here also I remember Anita Badami, who has wonderful vocabulary. So I wish very soon, after Anita Badami, next year Annapurna should be there. So she should very soon acquire a worldwide reputation, and a permanent, wonderful, continuous leadership. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Before anything else, a person who is passionately in love with language. Today, among us, we have a personality with a rare combination of wisdom and vision. Her creativity is a mixture of sweet of Bengal and spice of Andhra Pradesh, where she was born and brought up. So I take the pleasure and honor of introducing our short story writer who is master in writing and understanding the human emotions. She is a successful story writer, poet, editor, academician and book reviewer. Her remarkable writing journey started with her article on nutrition in Epic of Health, Hygiene and Pollution, and after this she didn't stop till now. Her maiden book of poem, Melodic Melange, Tale in Verse, was awarded for excellence in 2019, and her short story Waiting was published in an anthology on domestic violence by International Human Rights Art Festival in 2021. Her short story was shortlisted for Twist and Twang Short Story Contest in 2021. Her poem was also shortlisted for All India Poetry Competition 2017-19 and conducted by the Poetry Society of India. She received the Bharat Award for Literature in 2018 by Express Publication. Her poems about the river of the world and divine confluence was part of speech delivered by Dr. Varsha Das, an eminent writer at conference collaborated by South Asian University, Dhaka University on hybrid diplomacy. She published a free e-book for children, Raining Flies to the Indian Ocean. Her poems, short stories and articles have appeared in Westward Quarterly, The Punch magazine, The Kitab International, Nadsword, Spark and Reader's Digest and Women's Era and Active News among others. She compiled an e-book, a poetry collection, Monsoon Moods, poems contributed by the members of Your Space News India. Her collection of short story, When Jaya Met Jaggu and Other Stories, is published by Havakal Publishers in 2022. It is the book which brought all of us together here under one shade. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Annapurna Sharma with huge applause to share her experience with us.
We are honored with your presence.
So nervous, actually. Do I need this? I don't think.
Such a humble writer.
Actually, I'm feeling very nervous standing before all of you, all academicians, all very masters in the English language and literature people. I'm feeling very cold. My hands are very cold. I don't know how I will go through. Hopefully, I will speak. First, I would like to start with a quote. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. This is the quote given by Rumi. So I feel love is a very strong thing which actually draws everyone together. Today we are all gathered here for the love of literature, for the love of the books. So love need not necessarily be palpable, it could be anything, I feel. So today we are here today. I would like to start by thanking you all for joining me today to celebrate this very special moment, my special moment, where my book is being celebrated. So I really thank you all, and this book is a labor of love for me, and I'm really excited about this book. I don't know where this will go and how people will read it, what will be the readership, I really don't know. But this moment I really want to celebrate with all of you. And it has been a very long journey. I would like to thank my family, who has been my strong pillar of support during all there was a lot of, like, writer's life is more about remoteness, where we actually do not contact people, or where we don't speak to people, or we don't, they're not there on social medias, or even at home also is always reading, writing. So actually my family has been a very strong support for me, helping me in this entire long journey, daunting journey of writing, because this writing for me is more like a meditation, where I am just trying to do, but I know I'm not achieving it, I'm not doing it. Every time I'm doing it, I feel that yes, I've reached, but I'm falling back, I'm crashing down. But then again I'm trying, and again I'm trying to do. I don't know where it will end, where the end of that story is, but several drafts through this book has been around 60-70 drafts it has been through. It has taken me nearly 4 years to finish this book. I have sent it to many readers, all very great readers, professors who have read this book and who have given their inputs, and I had constantly drafted it and went through it. And you know, it is a lot of work that I have put through it, and now when it is in the book shape, I feel so excited, so happy to see it in the book shape. And I wish that this book reaches readers also, because I try to capture the sensitivity that is there in the society, which we normally miss. And I'm a very keen observer, so any small thing I keep observing, I just look it from the other perspective. What is normally not seen by us, what we normally as people, as individuals don't see. So I wanted to see that aspect of it and try to bring it. And most of these stories are based in small towns, and they speak of the normal mundanity that we see over there. So what is the speciality of the ordinariness that is there? This book celebrates that, and I thank Sir Atreya sir, who has always been a great source of support, encouragement, enthusiasm. If I wouldn't have met him, maybe I wouldn't have come this far. Because that day when I met him, when I introduced him in 2018, when I first met him and introduced him, and immediately he encouraged me, he read my poems and all that, he encouraged me, and he said, you give your poem for Hans India, I'm going. It was so fast, he has pulled me into your space and then into Muse India and all. And really we get very few people who actually recognize the talent in you and actually bring you that. And he has always been there for me, and he has supported me. So I thank you so much, sir. And today I'm so humbled that he is here today. And I am really thankful to you, sir. And I must thank Dr. Nalini madam also. When I went to her, she said, I don't know anything. I said, but madam, you are an academician, you have so much of experience, so you must really read this book and tell me how it is. Your feedback is valuable to me. I must understand how the literature people look at this book and give their insights. It will be helpful for me in my writing journey. And she has readily accepted, and with such, she was so cool, and I'd say she easily mixed without any hi-fi things like some people have, that we have. Nothing like that, and she was so normal, down-to-earth person, and she has just taken the book, and she is ringing me and asking me what the stories are. Really, when somebody rings you and asks you what you have written, I feel very much joy to actually share my perspective and all that. When she asked me about the book, about the characters, about how I've written it. And thank you so much, ma'am, for all your feedback. I really appreciate it. And today you have been here for me. Thank you really so much, ma'am. And I must thank Srilata and Sujata Agarwal. Srilata without them, this wouldn't have been possible. Because when I first wanted to start, do something like that, launch my book, I didn't know anybody. So when I approached them, they were more than eager, they were eager to actually do something, more enthusiastic than me, that yeah, let's do like this and all that. I said, see, I want a very small audience because I am very nervous. This is just my my second book. I don't know how to present it and all, so I can't do such things. I just can't stand this social activity, social media, all these things. I'm very nervous about these things. They said, no, we'll have a small audience, we'll do. And really, I thank you so much, Srilata and Sujata, who have been very helpful, kind, and at every point they have helped me organize this. And without them, today this wouldn't have been possible. And I thank all of you for being here. Many of you don't know who I am, but still you are here for me today. And if not for your presence, I don't know, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank you so much. And now coming to the writing. Let us a few words about the book and about this writing journey. Writing for me is all about rewriting. And most importantly, writing a short story is very, very difficult to write. Because it is challenging, because you will have to get all the emotions in a condensed format in a very small, maybe 2,000 words or 3,000 words, not exceeding that. So it is very, very challenging. It takes a lot of endurance and resolve to actually arrive at. And nowadays, short stories do not have an ending. They don't have a fixed ending because perspectives differ. We have traveled from that level of writing where we had a living happily ever after. So that type of endings are not there now, because everybody, every being has a different perspective. Maybe his life will take a different turn. Maybe he wants to take a different decision. So most of these stories are open-ended stories. Depending upon what the reader wants, they can actually have their ending. Whether they wanted a happy ending or whether they want to take a different decision, it is all perspective-based. So I feel these stories, they are evocative and they actually encourage the reader to think that yes, there are so many perspectives there. And for me, this even love, as I said, I wanted to take love as a theme, because normally people think that love is palpable. That is what the notion is there. Like the sir was also telling me, if you want to gain a recognition and all, you will have to write commercially oriented books. I said, no sir, I cannot write commercial books, because writing a commercial book is easier comparatively. Maybe I will have to bring only those elements and try to write a book. But writing a book like this, where I want the reader to experience that emotion. If I want the reader to experience that emotion, then I will have to get all the elements there into it. I just can't write it in one sentence that this happened. So I'll have to take him into that journey where the reader goes through the entire story and he feels one with the story, he feels one with the character, he's understanding the character. So that is what I tried to do in this short story. And also I'd like to share that Alice, I am a great fan of Alice Munro. I read all her stories and I really like the way she tries to do that with her characters. I tried to emulate her, I tried to do it. I don't know, she actually is a Canadian author and she writes about the rural place in Ontario in Canada, about all the people over there, rural people over there. And I tried to do that with my Indian settings, because India is no less. Why should we not talk about our culture? There is so much in our culture. So I used a lot of Indian words here. I used many, even Hindi, Bengali, so Telugu. I have used Telugu. To share with you, I have no formal education, Telugu education. I have not learned Telugu formally. That what my mother taught, that Telugu only I know. I can only read through, I cannot write perfectly. But still, why should we forget our languages, our culture and our traditions? If English is there, let's not use that. Why not use that tool, English, to project our culture, our rich culture, our rich tradition? We have a lot of emotions within us, because India is a very rich land with a lot of heritage in it, and we have this great strength of emotional bonding the togetherness, the living, people live together, people do things together. There's nothing called as solitariness or living a lonely life or something like that. We have that attachment is there in our culture. So it is important that the world knows about India, the world know about our stories. So therefore I try to pick and choose stories. And when people always ask me, madam also asked me several times, and people ask me, how are you able to write about a toddy seller? How are you able to write about this maid or about this old woman who is having this memory loss? I'd like to say that most of these stories is what happened before my eyes. Initially, this book was, when I was drafting this book, I had named it as Through My Window, because these were the stories which I had watched before. Not maybe the entire story, a little bit I had watched it. I was seeing from my balcony, there was this old woman near a hut. She was sitting lonely and distraught. And she was sitting, every day she would sit outside like that, and the son or the daughter, whoever was there, they would go out early in the morning and then return back late in the night. And she was sitting there throughout the day. She was sitting and sitting and sitting without nothing to do. But I could sense her feeling of loneliness. I could sense that feeling of isolation, that sense that nobody else is there. She's isolated, she's alone. So I wanted to put that into a story format, and I thought, why shouldn't she connect with somebody maybe from her childhood and all. So that is actually the origin of this title story, When Jaya Met Jaggu. Because it's not old age doesn't mean that you that it has to be some sort of a conjugal love or something, a pleasure or something. You want somebody, a partner to share your feelings with. You want somebody to live with you, to share your experiences till the end. So that is why I chose this as the title of this book. And coming to the other stories, for example, this toddy seller, I would see living over there in Nelluru, when I would see people going and collecting toddy, and even women used to drink this toddy, and they would sell this near the roads, at the side of the roads. They would keep selling this toddy and all that. And what I understand, or what I got information is, actually toddy is a very good drink. Actually it is healthy if they have it before getting fermented, or it is healthier. It has medicinal values. But what they do is, they are adding all these medicines to it to increase that toxic levels, and for that is what they are doing. They are making it more alcoholic in nature. That way they are losing the traditional, the cultural that is there, that drinking toddy is actually, it cools the system also. Actually it is very good for health. So they are going against it, and they are adding all these tablets and all these other pills to it, and increasing its toxic levels. So I felt this should not be done, and therefore I thought I should write a story about it. Similarly, there was an old building in front of my house, and it was being a very old and dilapidated building, and they were bringing it down, and they were destroying it because they wanted new structures to come up, and it reminded me of my ancestral home. And I felt these old houses or old buildings have some memories, a lot of memories stored in them. So I felt very nostalgic about that story, and that story has led me to write the temple under the tamarind tree. So there are most of these stories which I have written are actually based from what I had seen. And last but not the least, I would like to talk about this story, The Lone Jungle Crow, the last story which I had written. I had actually seen a farmer there were torrential rains, and everything, all the fields were flooded, submerged in water. This happened in 2015 in Nelluru. I had seen, and all the entire land was submerged with water. And they plant crops, especially they plant actually rice during the northeastern rains. northeastern rains in November and December during that time, and he was trying to save the saplings by digging a pit, and he was drawing water continuously and trying to save that. He didn't know that if the seeds that he had planted will actually grow into a sapling or not. And every day he used to come early in the morning and check, and every day he would do that. And finally, after the rain stopped, and finally after 20-30 days, actually even I was very happy to see green saplings come in that very little small area that he had planted the seeds. And then later, after the entire water got dried away, then they planted them. And it was this experience, how much of effort he has put into it, how much he was doing into it. So I actually notice all these things which happen around me, and this is what brings me to these stories. And I read a lot also, so I try to bring all these emotions together in my books. And actually all the peregrinations of my mind, they take the shape and they form into a word, and this book is nothing but the peregrination of my mind. And finally, I would like to say that my motto in life is actually coexistence is the key to existence. So that is why I had written the story Lunchtime, where I talk about a dog. So it is not about us, but it is about all the living beings around us. And I'm really happy that you all have joined together today to celebrate this, my moment of happiness. And once again, I thank sincerely Srilata and Sujata for being here for me and helping me organize this. Thank you, audience, for being here. I'm really, really happy to share with you. Please read the book and please support just not me, all authors like me. You are all literature people. Like she said, that there are many authors, Indian authors, who are not getting the actual place to stand. Their stories are not being showed. They are not displayed or showcased. They should actually read. Yeah, they should actually reach the readers, our Indian readers, and that is possible only if literature people can support people like us and help us reach the audience, not for the book, but for our stories, for our tradition and for our Indian stories. Thank you so much.
It's really great to listen to you. I feel that it should last for some more time. Today I would like to take, because I met many people, many authors, today I would like to take photograph, autograph and selfie also with you. And I'll show it to my daughter that I met one great author today. That is my friend Annapurna. There are many things to say, but time will not support us. For that, I request Dr. again, Dr. Annapurna, to present a memento as a token of respect to our chief guest, Mr. Annapurna Sharma, for sparing his valuable time with us on this day.
Madam. One more.
I request to receive this memento as a token of love and affection to our guest of honor, Dr. N. Nalini, for sharing her remarks and blessing us with her presence. join us.
అలా అలా పట్టుకోండి.
Okay,
బొకే అండి. ఓకే ఉండండి క్లోజ్గా. ఓకే రెడీ సార్.
మా విజయవాడలో ఒక మంచి ఆంధ్ర రచయిత. వెల్కమ్.
ఓకే ఓకే
okay.
ఒక్క నిమిషం. మా ఫ్రెండ్ ఆపరేషన్. మా ఊరు పేరు చక్కగా నిలబెడుతున్నందుకు.
అక్కడ మేడం గారికి ఒకసారి బొకే.
ఒకేలా వద్దులేవయ్యా. పుస్తకాలే కావాలి మా మేడం గారికి. సక్సెస్ అయిందని మీకు పర్వాలేదు 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 వద్దండి పర్వాలేదు. అయ్యో లేదు రండి. ఇంగ్లీషు తెలుగు ఇంగ్లీష్ వింటాం చదవటం మాట్లాడటం రాదు మా.
Now it's the time for giving my vote of thanks, respected dignitaries on and off the dais. It is my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks. On behalf of Sanatan Bharat, I thank our chief guest for his benign presence amid us and for inspiring all of us with his message, which was filled with wisdom and experience. I also thank our guest of honor, Dr. N. Nalini, for her presence and sharing her opinion on the book. I would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Srilata and Pawan ji for their thought-provoking reviews and encouragement. I would love to thank the audience for their presence and your interest in this. Thank you one and all. Again I'll say that thank you, dhanyavad, shukriya, aabhar, dhanyavadalu. In Arabic it is Sura Leka. Thank you everyone for your presence. We hope that, and we all of us wish Annapurna Sharma to have a great success in her career as a writer, and definitely she will become a great personality. So I feel that first of all I'll start by taking her autograph. So thank you very much for your presence. Thank you everyone. Thank you ma'am. Thank you for calling us and be part of it, and I request audience to have lunch with us, and it will be a pleasure for all of us that if you have lunch with us together. All right, so please.
అవునా
Teaching is that's
మీ
a passion for us.
ఎంకరేజ్మెంట్కి నీకు అభినందనలు. లేదు అలా తీసుకోవడం.
So personally, I thank all of you for responding